If you're watching this, you are the resistance. You are the resistance. Alright, minions, if you're out harvesting fungus, this is one that you want to pass by. It's called, I believe its Latin is Scleroderma, which refers to the outer surface of it, or false puffball. They look like puffballs, but if you open them up, you see the interior. These are fresh ones. It's black. Now, in an edible puffball, the inside would be a nice creamy, marshmallowy white. If you inadvertently eat these, they won't kill you. They'll just make you sick, and I suspect they don't taste very good. But they're pretty cool mushroom anyways. This would be the hymeneum layer in the inside. When they're fully ripe, they act just like a puffball. The top would open up here, and when raindrops hit it or a critter steps on it, the spores get puffed out. We're on Little Chaby Island on the Maine Island Trail, and if this isn't just, well, there's two cool things here. For one thing, the largest Fagus grandifolia, which is a beech tree, that I've ever seen in my entire life. And in Maine, these are infected by nectria, so they don't very often get very large. But I mean, look at the size of that thing. It is monstrous. And then right next to it, I don't know what this is, Model A, Model T, some kind of really old car that they got to the island and just left here. I mean, that is really awesome. And then next to it, check this out, some old relics. Really cool. Old, some wagon wheels or something. A lot of history to this island. I don't know, the houses were built out here like in the 1840s or something. And then it was abandoned since like 1945. And prior to the war, there was actually a Marine barracks here, and they had something like 70 or 80 moorings out here. They practiced hunting German U-boats. We were just told they had some German U-boats that they picked up from the Italian Navy. And some really old cars here. Look at that. It is really awesome. I don't know if you guys can see that. And it's free if you can get your butt out here. There's no public ferry to come out here. You have to either kayak or hire somebody. But as part of the Maine Island Trail Association, you can camp out here for free, which is pretty darn cool. And they're doing a lot of work, and they're in the process of trying to fight back the invasive plants and maintain what is almost an old growth forest here. It's like we're in the jungle. Really spectacular. We're spraying barberry, horrible invasive noxious stuff, which if left undeterred would take over. Oh, perfect spot for Sasquatch calls. I'm inside an abandoned Navy firefighting doohickey that they constructed down here off from Falmouth. We've been doing some spraying on one of these other islands, I forget the name of it. And darn it all, I wish I had my camera, because there was a dead leatherback turtle that had washed up and a harbor seal. And the leatherback turtles are extremely rare. They're the largest turtle in the world. They're one of the few turtles that actually come this far north. And that one was, oh, I don't know, probably 5 feet long, maybe. The head on is about the size of my head. You guys are gonna have to take my word for it, because I can get pictures of it. So I'm inside of the thing where they would train them for, you can see the top. They would start fires here, and they would train them for fighting ship fires. This is one of the islands that is hooked to the Maine Island Trail, which is a series of public and private islands that are maintained by a conservation group for the purpose of people with sailboats and kayaking or what have you. And you can camp out on the islands, and it's not fee-based, it's all free. And in my opinion, underutilized. Anyway, let's walk outside. You won't be able to hear me because the wind's blowing. And here we are. There's a lobster trap that washed up. When I was a kid, we used to make lobster traps and made them out of wood. Maine Island State Park. It's just outside of Lincolnville Beach. I don't know the name of this island, but on the other side of this island is the island of Owlsboro. Christy Alley has a home out there, and John Travolta. The Scientologists have taken over Owlsboro. As you can see, Maine Island State Park, it's extremely well maintained by a couple of rangers. The head ranger goes by the name of Sunshine. It's kind of a little bit of a local legend. It's just a beautiful spot. And in 1919, there was a huge mansion that burnt out here. They had something like 27 rooms. It was built by some woolen baron, and they used to have masquerade parties and all kinds of cool stuff. He bought it in the late 1800s, and I believe he spent some $75,000 building the structure. He died before it was finished, but his son managed to finish it. So there still remains of that out there. And prior to the woolen baron owning Islesboro State Park, it was the locale for the Abenaki, also known as the Penobscot Indians. And before the Penobscot Indians used to hang out here on this island. Back there, there's some gigantic shell heaps from what were called the red paint people. And I think they were like 4,000 BC or 4,000 years ago, or sometime in the last 10,000 years. It was quite soon after the glacier receded here in Maine. The red paint people made their mark known. It's not really known what happened to them. There's a lot of history here. It's a really interesting place. The channel on the other side here, I'll get some pictures of it. It's only about, I don't know, maybe a mile across. You can take a ferry out to Islesboro, and I don't know, for a nominal fee you can rent one of these little rowboats and row over here and camp out on Warren Island. Well, this is really neat right here. This is called a blue-winged bolete, and you can see why. The minute you open it up, active components inside it oxidize, flesh turns blue. This is usually a sign of toxicity. These would be boletes. This might be what's referred to as Satan's boulette. I think if you eat it, it makes you sick to your stomach. The day after the hurricane, and we're getting ready to ford a flooded part of the river. You feel confident, Joe?
No.
A little worried?
Yes.
What are you showing us, Joe?
Here's where he was when he saw the truck, and then he ran up the
When
road.
what was?
The black bear.
The bear that I didn't see.
200-pound black bear.
Really? You think he's about 200 pounds?
Yeah.
Well, you can see where his claws dug in. He was moving out, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Hooked it up through there.
And me with an empty gun. What a bummer.
And bear season being open. What was that again, Joe?
Is that the lobster?
Yes, lobster mushroom. Also known as...
It's a parasite of a parasite.
Very good. You remember lessons from last year. This is Hypomyces lactiflorum. And the host mushrooms is Russula butavips. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow. These things are really tasty. There you go, Joe.
It is gorgeous.
We'll eat these tonight. These are really spectacular mushrooms. All right, that one's
more up there.
Yeah. See, these are kind of gone by. They're all crumbly. Now, this type of mushroom is really interesting because normally it's white and it just looks like a regular Basidiomycota. When it's infected by another fungus, the Hypomyces, an imperfect fungus, it turns it into what's called lobster mushrooms. And these are choice edibles. They're one of my favorite mushrooms to eat. They're delicious, and you find them in the fall. As you can see, they just look really awesome. Now, the hymenium layer on these is actually the complete surface covering of the host mushroom. Oh, this is so cool. Yes, this.
So the hyphae is spread through the ground?
The mycelium. Right, the hyphae.
Mycelium, okay.
Now, this right here is when it's infected by the imperfect fungus. This is Russula butavips that's not infected. Right here. This is what it normally looks like. And this is what it becomes when it's infected. You can eat these right here, but they taste terrible. It's like being, it's like mace. There you go, Joe.
That one going by?
No, no. Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
you can tell. Yeah, look, see, the insects have gotten into it. This species right here is also edible. This is known as a banded cortinarius. Most of the cortinarius are poisonous and you shouldn't eat them, but this species is edible, but not very tasty. It kind of tastes a little bit like dirt. We won't eat that one. Well, Joe and I have been working all day up here. Behind me, you can see, if I get my head out of the way, right there, you can see the tallest mountain in Maine, Mount Katahdin, which they piled a rock cairn up there, but it used to be just a hair under a mile tall. And I know you guys are chuckling that have real mountains in your states, but that's our tallest mountain. Behind me, you can see the Blair Witch Project, which was an old fire tower that we have been diligently working to take down and make safe for demolition. It's kind of too bad because it's not a bad little building, but there wasn't funds to maintain it, and so it was a liability hazard. Somebody could get hurt up here or, you know, burn the place down or something. So anyways, we're demolishing it. Pretty awesome view, pretty cool. The top of this mountain is, oh, I don't know, some 4,000 feet. You can see the top of it up there. Takes about another hour and a half or so to get to the top of it. And there's some cell phone towers up there. It's a heck of a view. You can see all the way down to Moosehead Lake. All right, I hope you guys can see this. This is one of my top, probably 3 mushrooms. It's in the, I'm doing this from memory, so I might get this wrong, but I believe it's in the family of Hynaceae, and you can see the hymenium layer is toothed. It's a toothed fungus. It's related to boar's head, which you usually find it growing on dead beech trees. This is a regular, you know, you find it on the forest floor. Common name is called hedgehog mushrooms. This is what it looks like on the top. And it's a good one for beginners because you see it's got like icicles for its hymenium layer. And these things are absolutely delicious. They're real nutty and oh man, they're just good. And this is the most I've ever found in one place. There's a whole pile of them here, so I'm going to put them in my raincoat to go along with the. I mean, look at that, just awesome. I gotta go pick Joe up. Joe took the trash and the 4-wheeler down the road. You know, I was stopping for the mushrooms. All right, what did we find, Joe?
We found an a young metamorph American toad, probably this year's.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Would be my guess. Bufo americanus, one of our native species. Pretty cryptic coloring there.
Well, he sure is cryptic,
Blends
isn't he?
right in with the.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's this year's toad. I don't know what their age is on them.
Yeah, he's pretty small.
I know they'll live to be like 20 years old captivity. We gotta get him out of the road so we don't run him over. Yeah, he's awesome. And he's got little poisonous glands at the base of his head.
Poison?
There. He's not as bad as the cane toads. I'm headed to the top of Big Spencer Mountain in search of the legendary Sasquatch. And en route, I've run across one of my favorite critters of the forest, a slime mold. They're just absolutely awesome. Look how brightly colored this thing is. They're amazing. They start off as a single spore. And the spore hatches out, I guess you would say, and produces a single little, like amoeba critter that's completely independent and roams all about. And then as it consumes food, it splits itself in half. And over time, it creates this colony. Like you can see here, this isn't just one organism. This is hundreds, thousands of individual little amoeba-like critters that are roaming about, kind of like a herd of cattle grazing. And then at some predetermined time, they release certain chemical signatures, and some of the little amoeba critters will turn into the base of the fruiting body, and some of them turn into the stalk, and then some of them actually produce more spores, so they reproduce. I think it's called a scarpocorp, the fruiting body when it's full of spores. It just looks like a dried up slug on the side of a tree, and this thing will overwinter, and then come next spring or whenever conditions are favorable, when it's wet like it is right now in the fall, they'll burst open and those spores will float around and land someplace, and you'll get another crop of slime moles. And these things come in all kinds of different colors. They're just so darn cool. Well, I've seen them black and white, kind of a pinkish lavender color, and yellow. Yellow is fairly common. Joopy TV, all Joopy all the time. What do you think of that, Joops? Are you up for it? I have a very unlucrative contract for you.